Hey, what's up, everyone? AJ Reg Crypto here. A little bit under the weather, but I'm still super excited to get into this video today. I have seven crypto charts that I want to share my ideas with you guys. I have a bunch of levels for you to set, a bunch of trading ideas, a lot of good stuff in this video. But before I get into these 7 crypto charts, I want to show you 2 other charts that are super important for your trading as well. The first thing I want to look at here is no other than the DXY, the dollar. All right, the dollar chart is fairly simple. If you kind of use, the bear market as an example, when there's a powerful dollar, see this right here, this was, 2022, when the dollar's going up, markets are going down, crypto included. Crypto included. All right, and look at what has happened here. Let me pull this back over here. Look at what has happened here in recent history. Okay, so we come over here. This run we have from the end of summer, kind of going into, excuse me, from Q3 going into Q4 last year. When we had our local top around Christmas time, the dollar spent that time falling. All right. And now the dollar is, as crypto this past little while here, March going into April now, with crypto falling because the dollar has been coming up. Okay. The dollar has been coming up, but I do have reason to believe that the dollar could be turning around here. When we zoom into the 2 hour, the dollar has finally began to put in lower highs. All right. It is still above the 50 EMA. We want to see it go below the 50 EMA to start, bearish continuation. Kind of look at the money flow has been kind of curving down there on market cipher B at the bottom. And really what we don't want to see is the dollar get back above this level here, 106.43. We don't want to see the dollar wake back up above that and put in a higher high. We want to see the dollar continue to maybe fall down here, test the 200. It is still in a macro uptrend. Hopefully you can even lose that uptrend eventually as well. But if we can see the dollar kind of leak down a little bit, that would give the stock market and consequently crypto a little bit of room to run. So I'm watching to see on the 2 hour if the dollar is going to fall below that 50 EMA. That would be good thing number one. Now let's go to the stock market. This is the S&P 500. After this, we'll get into crypto, I promise. But this stuff is so important, guys. You got to follow traditional markets. I mean, don't tell me the stock market is not connected to crypto, especially with the Bitcoin ETF coming into play. All this institutional money finding its way, getting into crypto. It has never been more important to follow the normal stock market. And look, this right here, the stock market putting in lower highs. This is how I called the recent drop before it happened. You don't believe me? Go back and look at the emergency videos with all the levels set that I gave you. If you went off those alarms, you could have saved your bags from falling, 30%, 25%, So this is how I saw that coming by looking at the stock market. But now something interesting has happened. There are 2 interesting things happening. The first thing with the stock market is we do have bullish divergence down here on market cipher B. Bullish divergence, and we kind of popped off this support resistance level. This is very good to see for the stock market. That's the good thing. The bad thing is that we're about to have a death cross, the 50 EMA going under the 200 EMA on the 2 hour chart. Okay, I do look at the 2 hour for a lot of things. And it's a good chart to follow, especially if you're following the day-to-day trading and if you're a leverage trader. So what we kind of want to look for here is maybe the cross won't happen. Maybe it'll come up and push up. Maybe that won't happen, or maybe it will happen and it'll be a shorter cross, kind of something like this, and then it'll go back around. That can happen too. Just because there's a death cross doesn't mean it's the end of the world. These things do change over time, but we want to see the stock market continue to push up here and try to get above the 200 EMA. It is still below the 200 EMA, and that it does kind of scare me a little bit. And we do have a whole full percent to go. We are still heavy in the red on the money flow, and the point of control is below the price action as well. So I do have reason to believe that the stock market is going to continue to go up, especially if the dollar continues to go down under the EMA here. But my point is, keep an eye. There's a couple factors with the stock market, but considering it did bounce off support resistance, this level right here, I have an alarm set 4951. Very important level to keep an eye on the stock market. So with all that said, let's finally make our way over to Bitcoin, the number one of the crypto charts you need to be watching right now. Obviously, Bitcoin has had a nice little run up, putting in finally higher lows, higher highs. We'd like to see this. We're in a little mini uptrend with Bitcoin, local uptrend. Here's the bone I have to pick with Bitcoin is that we have come up here, but if you notice, we are still below that recent high right there at 67,000, yeah, $67,084. So just above 67,000. We would really, really, really like to see Bitcoin get above that recent high from right here. That is thing number one. We don't want to see Bitcoin get shut down and be kind of stuck in this range. Getting above that level is the most important thing if we want to see bullish continuation right now for Bitcoin. The second thing is that definitely, even if it's kind of a rough sketch here, kind of draw, the parameters of this uptrend and have the alarm set on the lower band. So, if we lose this uptrend, we're in an uptrend until we're not. So I would certainly like to see Bitcoin stay in this uptrend locally. I'd really like to see it get above that 67,000. We clear the $67,000 support resistance level. I feel a lot better about getting into altcoin longs. We get rejected from this level. Say the bear cross happens. Say the bear cross happens on the stock market. The stock market, we come up, get rejected from the 200 EMA. We get rejected from 67,000 on Bitcoin. There's where we start talking about shorts, and that would be the case where this most recent pump was just another pump up in an otherwise longer, painful downtrend. Another possibility as well. It is possible that Bitcoin, if you consider, this part, we are approaching the upper end of this trend line here. Let me fix this up so you can see a little bit better. Make this line thicker. So as you can see, Bitcoin has had a touch here, and then we are very, very close to maybe hopefully breaking out of that. But there is a little point of intersection here with this support resistance level and this downtrend coming down. We would really like to see Bitcoin break out of these things, not get rejected by these things. In the case it breaks out, we go long on our altcoins. We make money going long. But if we get rejected when we're talking about going short, like I said on my live stream earlier, this is the level around 61,000. That is the most important level Bitcoin needs to hold. We lose that level, we have a big gap in the volume over here, and we end up all the way down, maybe 52,000 if Bitcoin loses this level here. But let's pretend that's not going to happen. Let's stay bullish. Let's look at the scenario where Bitcoin breaks out of this downtrend, breaks above the 67,000 support resistance level, and let's react to the market. Let's not predict, let's react. So another chart that is very close to getting above that previous high is Solana. Solana, just like Bitcoin, it has come up, but it is just a little inch. An inch. This support resistance level is $156. It's at 154. Solana is so close to getting above. Why am I drawing lines? Solana is so close to getting above that support resistance lines that it needs, because look at how fast Solana kind of dropped off right here. See that drop off right here? That's because look at the volume. Okay, see, there's a big gap in the volume here. All right. And that's why Solana, when it fell, it had that bid. It was going to come down and catch the volume. Well, now Solana's knocking on the door, trying to get above the support resistance at 156. And if it can get above that, we could easily see Solana go back to 170, the 180 range here, this, value area up here. It could get there as long as it gets above 156, where it's at 154 right now. So keep a close eye on Solana. Set that alarm at 156. I would go long if we break that alarm. But, there is the case we get rejected and come back here to $1.40. This is why, we're not predicting, we're reacting to the market. We're setting alarms, we're moving forward. I'm sure you can kind of see a lot of the other conditional levels I've set here for the Telegram group. And basically the way these levels work is, we have an alarm at 144, we have alarm at 137. And if whatever one we break first, we go off that alarm. We go off that support resistance right here. If we went long off the break of this alarm, we're up 5% in 2 days. And that's how it works. If you want to join the Telegram group, send me an email down below, ajalphagroup@gmail.com. We've been nailing trades every day. So obviously here's another one I want to talk about, no other than Algorand. Algorand has been a chart that has been very interesting to watch lately. A couple things here. Just like Solana, this quick drop down for Algorand. Well, look at the volume. Big gap in the volume here. So if Algorand can, get above, this level here around, about basically 20 cents, it could maybe move back up into this 22, 23 cent range that it was, back over here. So there is another big, like, low volume node coming in play here with Algorand. But there's another thing brewing with Algorand too, is that it's trying to get above the 200 EMA. A rejected from the 200 EMA, actually wouldn't I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, because we actually do have a bearish divergence kind of forming here, oscillator pushing down as the price is pushing up. So I don't really have an immediate trade for you with Algorand right here, right now, other than if we get above the 200, you could get a nice push up through this low volume node. If we get rejected, then we're kind of looking back down to the point of control around 17.5 cents. Keep a close eye on Algorand. Let's hope we get above that 200 EMA. Shout out to the Algo fam. All right, now we're here on HBAR. HBAR, unlike, Solana, unlike Bitcoin, it actually has gotten above this big support resistance level right here, these previous highs. It did get above that. You also kind of want to consider that it is in, a little uptrend as well. Okay, so we kind of want to, keep that in mind. A loss of this, 873 level, that would equal a short back down to, this range back here. The point of control is actually below price action at 78078. So, and it is just like Algorand is fighting at that 200 EMA. So what I'm saying here with HBAR is that basically we are in an uptrend until we're not. So make sure you set an alarm at 0873 and on this little uptrend right here. And if those alarm goes off, we're going to be looking short. But, there's also the idea that it could keep pushing up. A big gap in the volume profile right here. If it can get above the 200, we're talking, from here to back above, 14% to that support resistance, 11% to the actual level right at 10 cents. That 10-cent level has always been so important for HBAR. So it's really, this is more of this. This is particularly as an observation of the EMA, of the volume itself, and that we're in an uptrend. So your alarms at 0873 and on this little uptrend here. If we lose those levels, we're going short. But right now I'm holding tight in HBAR. I actually bought a little bit more HBAR over the weekend. All right, now we are looking at the graph. The graph, very, very close. It actually got above the 200 EMA, closing above on the 2 hour. The graph is looking great, coming up to retest this support resistance level here at right above 30 cents. Really hoping the graph maybe even got, a bull cross coming here for the graph on the 2 hour. Would absolutely hate to see the graph get rejected at, 30, almost 31 cents. But to be fair, there is a little bearish divergence forming. So, if the graph got above the 30-cent level, I would feel a lot better. 31 cents. It's actually at 306, where right now it's at 302. That's a big support resistance level. Let's hope the graph gets above that. Just because there's a bearish divergence doesn't necessarily mean it will play out. And also, note the other, alarm levels on the screen in the case we go down. But, kind of when you zoom a little bit out on the graph in particular, you'll realize that, it was in, sorry for all the chart graffiti, but it was in, let me get rid of the EMA so it's a little bit less messy for you guys. But it was in this downtrend here. The graph was in this downtrend. Okay. And it actually broke down out of that downtrend right there. And now it has actually got back into the bands of that downtrend and is approaching the uptrend. All right. And the point of intersection between the support resistance level at 32 cents and this uptrend is actually April 24th, 2 days from now. So, it is possible that the graph could get above both the uptrend and big support resistance at 32 cents. But the first thing it has to do is get above this 0.306 level. And we're hoping that we don't see a rejection at that level. I do have a very close eye on the graph. It does look like the oscillator's moving from the red into the green on the money flow. I'm really just praying for not a rejection at the 306. All right, now we have TAO. Been keeping a close eye on this going on the 2 hour chart. And to be honest with you, it looks really good here. If we kind of consider the curvature right here, we kind of consider, we're looking at the oscillators. We have anchor wave, trigger wave, the red coming up. We're coming up into the VWAP. This thing is looking pretty solid on the 2-hour chart. I would like to see it get above the 200 EMA on the 2-hour. I would like to see, we're putting in higher lows, we're putting in higher highs. It's finally starting to look like something. All right, but what I also kind of want to see is if you kind of go back over here, kind of like Solana, it's very close to getting above, this was the previous low over here, got a rejection right there. This level here is at 516.2. Right now it's at 507.7. So I'm going to set that alarm at 516.2. We get above that level, I feel much better about going long and kind of running up into the 590s, the 600 range. That is the alarm level for TAO 516. Perfect. And the final chart I want to talk about today is no other than Vchain, one of my favorite projects in all of crypto. Big shout out to the V fam. So look at this, guys. First of all, I want to say, let's start with the 4-hour. First of all, I want to say when we saw that massive rejection, Vchain did a really good job holding a lot of its value. If you kind of look at like previous support resistance levels, it didn't really it wicked below, but it wasn't that crazy. It wasn't that crazy. It really only went to 3.7 on the 4 hours if you're not taking the wicks into account. All right, that's thing number one. We do got a green dot on market cipher B on the 4 hour. We are in a little local uptrend here. It's great to see that. But when we zoom into the 2 hour is really where we see what is important with Vchain right now. And what is important with Vchain right now is, we are getting close to a bull cross on the 2 hour. That'd be really good to see that. But look at this support resistance level right here, this yellow line. We got this touch here, kind of rejection from that level here. This level and your alarm level for Vchain is at 0.043. Okay. 0.043 is the alarm you want to set for Vchain. That alarm goes off, we are going long and we are going to ride this thing. Hopefully look at the kind of gap in the kind of, there is kind of a little bit more volume. There's a little divot right there. And as you can see, where we were back here at like 4.7s back into the 5 cent range for Vchain. So basically you want to have this alarm here at 0.043, and you also want to draw this uptrend yourself on your chart at home. Kind of this here, have an alarm on that. If we lose that, we go short, we react. But ultimately it is really good to see Vchain start forming an uptrend on the 4 hour and the 2 hour. It is kind of in the middle right now on market cipher B. Hopefully it gets back into the green, but I'm telling you, it all kind of hangs on the dollar. We want to see the dollar drop below the 50. We want to see the dollar fall like this. The dollar falls like that, my worries about, I'm bullish. I have bullish and bearish cases for every coin, and we're going to observe that and set alarms and react to it. That's our strategy. But the dollar does matter. We want to see that come down. We want to see the stock market continue this bounce. We don't want to see a massive rejection. We want to see Bitcoin get above the $67,000 level and break out of this little downtrend that it's been forming here. These three things happen, it is back on for altcoins. But there is also the case where things get rejected here, and these levels that we're working up to could ultimately, like Solana, this 156 level could be the level where we get rejected from. And I don't mean to sound like I'm talking out both sides of my mouth, and I'm certainly not, but my point here is that you need to be aware of these levels. You need to have these levels drawn, and you need to have alarms set on them so you can properly react to the market. I'm not going to come on here and guess. I don't guess. You should never guess. You should be well informed, and you need to react. That is what I'm teaching, and I practice what I preach, and that's how I have won trade after trade after trade for years and years and years, by doing this over and over and spending hours and hours trading. And this is what it really comes down to. Like, I could, if we were talking about baseball, I could talk about how to hit a home run from 100-mile-an-hour fastball until I'm blue in the face. You could read volumes of books and books and books about how to hit a home run off of a fastball, but you can intellectually have it in your mind. But until you step up to the plate and swing the bat with all you got, you don't know how to hit a home run. So what I'm saying here is that it's about putting the hours in, having the 10,000 hours actually locked in, being in a trade, managing that trade for 10,000 hours. That's what they say, like how to master anything, put in 10,000 hours. So if you are intellectually trading in your mind, but you're not actually trading on the charts, it's hard to really have a fully formed opinion, and it's really hard to make life-changing money in crypto if you're not actually putting in those hours. So I want you guys to intellectually have it figured out, but I also want you to slowly but surely get used to that ebb and the flow. Even if you shouldn't be trading with more than 1% of your bag anyway. Some traders say 4%, some traders say 1%. Regardless, a small percentage of your bag. It's a mathematically sure way to get yourself wrecked if you're trading with large chunks of your net worth. Never put your entire bag in on one trade. As tempting as it is, you should never do that. I mean, take your time. Take your time. The halving just happened. It just happened. We have it, based off the book, the everything that's happened before with Bitcoin. We have a year and a half. Right now, we have a year and a half to put the work in, to work overtime, to go as hard as we can, to make as much money as we can, to make this bull run actually count for what it's worth. I want to see you guys get new cars. I want to see you pay off your houses. I want to see you, buy a house, live the life of your dreams. You can do that. I started from nothing. You can start from nothing. If you're focused enough, you want to put in the time, you want to put in the grind. I believe in you. I did it. I know you can too. My name's AJ Writes Crypto. Make sure you smash the like button. Let me know down below in the comments what charts you want to see TA on as well. And if you want to learn more, about my trading strategy, send me an email at ajalphagroup@gmail.com. It's right down there below, and we'll get you signed up in the Alpha Telegram group in no time. So with that being said, I appreciate each and every one of you. My name's AJ Writes Crypto. Get rich. Don't get wrecked. Later.